And a good afternoon to you, my lovely viewers. We are back again on the channel Echoing the Saints, which grants us a platform to journey to sainthood. As always, I've been your host, Samuel Akoto, and I have with me here a lovely guest called...
So, my name is Mr. Ebenezer Anarfi from the Catholic Archdiocese of Cape Coast, St. Paul's Catholic Seminary, Philosophy 1.
In our previous shows, we've always known that a saint is someone who does the ordinary thing in an extraordinary way. And many of the saints we've heard about are Saint Teresa of Avila, Saint Augustine of Hippo, Saint Catherine of Siena, Saint Catherine of Alexandria, and many more. We would like to know what our guest thinks about who saints are and who is his favorite saint, so that we can pick up from there.
Okay, then to start with, I will first of all make known to the public my lovely saint. And my lovely saint has always been the Blessed Virgin Mary, the Queen of all the saints. So my favorite saint among all the saints is the Blessed Virgin Mary. And to define who a saint is, first of all, I would like to bring to your notice that a saint is a human being who has actually led a good life on earth that is worth emulating by others, and as a result has gained way to heaven or is in the preparation to enter into heaven. So there are some key words you should pay attention to. That is a human being. So saints are not angels, saints are not gods, they are human beings, and they live their good life on earth. So saints actually live their good life on earth, not in heaven and not in purgatory or not in hell. So they live their life here on earth, and the life they live are actually worth emulating. That is, it attracts other people to do so. And as a result, saints are always admired, and as a result, they are all in heaven. So no saint can we say that a saint is in hell or a saint is struggling on earth. All the saints are actually in heaven.
It's quite a handful of knowledge to know that saints have always been human beings living on this earth. And from your speech, you just said your favorite saint is the Queen of all the saints. It's wonderful to know that that's your saint. And actually, on our set today, this is what we want to talk about. Why are we to journey with Mary as the Queen of all the saints in this Lenten season? So we would love you to elaborate on this topic for us, as you've already told us that Mary is your favorite saint, as she is the Queen of heaven.
So I'm very happy to talk and elaborate more on this topic, why we should journey with Mary throughout this Lenten period. First of all, we should understand when we talk about this Lenten period, what are the requirements? So as Lenten period, we are called to what? Emulate or to share in the passion and death of our Lord Jesus Christ. And how do we do it? We do them in three ways. First of all, we are supposed to fast, to give alms, and to pray. So as human beings, this 40 days period, we are called to fast, pray, and to give alms. But you ask yourself, who is your model during this 40 days period? You need somebody you look up to be able to live that kind of life in this 40 days. And that's how I want to propose the Blessed Virgin Mary, who is the Queen of all sufferers, Queen of all the sorrows, so that we emulate how he suffered here on earth, and as a result, that will become a motivation for all of us to do so in this 40 days period. So first of all, let's analyze how motivated is the Blessed Virgin Mary for us. How do we emulate? How come we have to live after the life of Blessed Virgin Mary? Let's delve into the sorrows of Blessed Virgin Mary as the biblical accounts give to us. Mary actually did not, as many biologists will account to the fact that he didn't experience the pangs of childbirth or in his old age suffered pains during her death. So how come we are supposed to emulate her? First, Mary endured 7 kinds of sorrows while she was on earth. To start with, let's look at the sorrows, the 7 sorrows of Blessed Virgin Mary. And the first one has to do with the prophecy of Simeon at the presentation of Jesus Christ in the temple. Simeon prophesied that a sword shall indeed pierce the heart of Blessed Virgin Mary, and that started her sorrows. Then the second one has to do with the flight to Egypt, where Mary and Joseph had to take the child Jesus away from King Herod. Then the third one, when Jesus was lost in the temple, Mary and Joseph had to wander around searching for the child Jesus. Then the fourth one, Mary meeting the Son during his passion. Mary seeing how Jesus was suffering. And as we meditate upon the stations of the cross, mainly in our account language, there's a part that thought of the fact that the kind of gaze they were gazing at each other was like being pierced with a lens. How sorrowful our Blessed Virgin Mary was suffering. Then the fifth one has to do with the crucifixion. When Jesus was crucified and Mary standing at the feet of the cross, it was so sorrowful. Then the sixth one, after Jesus has been crucified and was dead, he was laid on the laps of Blessed Virgin Mary, mother and son reunited once again. Then the last one, the burial of Jesus Christ. Accounts give to our notice that Mary had to use her hand to prepare the tomb where Jesus was laid. So this kind of sorrows that Mary endured gives us motivation that indeed, if indeed we are looking for somebody through whom we can endure these 40 days of fasting, prayer, and almsgiving, there's nobody we can look up to except the Blessed Virgin Mary. Now let's look at what can we learn from the sorrows of Blessed Virgin Mary. 1. The humanity of Blessed Virgin Mary gives us motivation. From the definition I gave about who a saint is, I said saints are human beings. And Blessed Virgin Mary indeed is and was a human being. So these 40 days of agony in sharing in the passion and death of our Lord Jesus Christ, there's nobody, there's no human we can look up to except the Blessed Virgin Mary, who gave all her life to suffering for the gospel and suffering in the light of her Son. Then the second one, what can we learn? The endurance of Blessed Virgin Mary. Drawing attention to the definition I gave, I said the saints lived good life here on earth. That means they endured in their good life here on earth. So the endurance of Blessed Virgin Mary here on earth, living in that sorrow for that kind of period of time, gives us motivation that regardless of the sufferings we are going through in these 40 days, the hope is that we can and we will be able to endure. Now the third lesson is the end of that suffering. The end of that suffering was what? The unfading crown of what? Glory. Mary indeed, as many scholars bring to our notice, that she was crowned Queen of what? Heaven. That gives us motivation that this 40 days period, when we are able to endure, when we are able to go through these 40 days of fasting, prayer, and almsgiving, the end is what? The unfading crown of what? Glory. Then now, why should we worry? What should become the distraction? What are we worried about? Let me draw your attention to the account, what happened at the wedding feast at Cana. As John chapter 2 brings to the Gospel of John brings to our notice, chapter 2 verse 1 to 11. It states that when the wedding feast was going on and when the people had run out of what? Wine, they went to who? The Blessed Virgin Mary. You'll be worried that, oh, I find it difficult to fast. You'll be worried, I find it difficult to pray. You'll be worried that I find it difficult to give alms. It's not that you find it worrying. It's the fact that the wine, that is the source of your motivation, has run out. What then must you do? Run to the Blessed Virgin Mary for new wine. The wine of prayer. The wine of almsgiving. The wine of fasting. When you run to the Blessed Virgin Mary for this wine, you'll be able to endure this 40 days period of what? Fasting, prayer, and almsgiving. So then, I bring to your notice, my dearly people out there who are finding it difficult to endure this 40 days period of what? Fasting, almsgiving, and prayer in this 40 days period of Lenten observance. That let's take Blessed Virgin Mary as our model of what? Motivation. The one who motivates us to carry out this task of fasting, prayer, and almsgiving. And I believe that as Mary is saint, who she is in heaven, as we are emulating her lifestyle, we too can attain the heaven that is the unfading crown of glory, the end of all our struggles on earth.
Master Ebenezer Anarfi, that's a lovely rendition of the topic you've given us just now. Your elaboration and your definition have been so heartwarming. If not being a Catholic and I should be a Protestant out there, listening to your speech this very moment should draw me to come to an understanding that Mary was not just the mother of Jesus. Yes, before the show today, I was questioning how this topic aligns with Lent. And through your rendition, I've gotten the understanding that Mary as Queen of all the saints indeed aligns with the season of Lent, because out of your rendition, she endured with her son to the very end. She accepted all the suffering that came her way. From our previous rendition, we learned that saints are ordinary people who do ordinary things in an extraordinary way. And indeed, from your rendition, Mary really did everything ordinary in an extraordinary way. And per your example for our people and even for me, that we should turn to Mary to have our wine, our vessels filled with new wine so that we can forge ahead in this Lenten season. I'm really marveled at this. Thank you very much. So as we are about leaving the set, we would want to know if you have anything for the viewers out there. Thank you.
Okay, so to all people out there, most especially my dear Catholics, there's one thing I have for you. And before I go on, I would like to borrow from the message of Apostle Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 7. And when Paul was speaking, he was telling the people, I wish that all people were what? Like me, that they could share in his life. What message do I want to send to you all out there? I want to send the message that you may have a saint you are what? You are praying to, you are looking up to, but I would like to bring your attention to the fact that I have Blessed Virgin Mary as my favorite saint. So I'm sending a message that I wish that you all what? Follow suit. The course that I've taken, I wish that you all take Blessed Virgin Mary, who is the Queen of all the saints. How marvelous it is when you have the Queen of all the saints by your side. You wouldn't worry about anything. Whatever you ask for will be given to you. And this year, as the Pope has declared Jubilee year, I want you to bring your attention that we should all endure this year with what? Rosary, the praying of the Rosary. And one of our priests, Father Pinto, launched this year's 65 days of what? Rosary prayer. And I want to bring your attention. Maybe you might have missed some of them, but it's not too late for you to start praying. So the whole year 2025, let's all endeavor to pray the Rosary. And I believe before the year ends, we will all be giving testimonies upon testimonies, accounting to the fact that Mary had indeed intervened in whatever that we did during the year. Thank you.
So lovely viewers, I believe today we've all been enlightened even the more, not with just anything, but to come to know the ultimate saint, the primordial saint, Mary, who is Queen of all the saints, who we need to journey with through our life, not just in this Lenten season, but throughout our life. As our guest suggested, we should, even if we will not follow the channel to pray the Rosary every day in this year, let us take it upon ourselves to journey with Mary, who is the Queen of all the saints, so that everything will fall in place for us in our life, just as it did in the Gospel of John chapter 2 verse 1 to 11, borrowing from the quotation of our guest. We would love to see you next time on this same platform on the channel Echoing the Saints. Do remember to subscribe. Bye bye.